Have you noticed what's happening in 2025? America's tourism is falling fast, and hardly anyone is talking about it. Empty airports, quiet hotels, half-filled theaters, even Disney parks struggling. Why is the world turning away from the U.S.? Stricter visa rules, expensive travel, a strong dollar, and growing social issues are making the U.S. a less appealing destination. Meanwhile, other countries are offering easier entry, better value, and friendlier travel vibes. So today we're looking at 10 big American companies that are quietly falling apart, all because international tourists have stopped coming. 1. Marriott and Hyatt. Marriott and Hyatt are hotel names known around the world, but now they're having a hard time filling rooms. These hotels were built on international travelers, both business and vacation. But that stream has slowed down. In fact, international visits to the U.S. have dropped by over 30%. In places like San Francisco and Chicago, Marriott's occupancy rates have dropped below 60%, the lowest in over 10 years. Hyatt's revenue per room barely increased by 13%, which is shocking for a luxury brand. They're now pouring millions into loyalty programs like Bonvoy, targeting Americans. But with high prices and tight budgets, even U.S. families are skipping vacations. Some hotels have shut down entire floors, reduced staff, and delayed renovations. Even with fancy ads, the truth is, many lobbies and luxury rooms are sitting empty. The hotel giants aren't going bankrupt yet, but the cracks are showing. And unless tourism rebounds, they may have to completely rethink their business. 2. Disney parks. Even Disney couldn't escape the tourism crash. Visitor numbers at Disney World and Disneyland are down by nearly 18% compared to last year. That may not sound huge, but it means billions in lost income and jobs. At risk, Disney used to contribute over $67 billion to the U.S. economy. But now international visitors from Europe, China, and Japan are skipping it. Why? Strict visas, high airfare, and long wait times. Even American families are cutting back. Ticket prices are high, food is expensive, and inflation is hitting hard. Disney spent over $30 billion to upgrade parks and add new rides. They've tried discounts and bundling Disney Plus with hotel stays, but it's not enough. Shops, restaurants, and hotels around Disney are suffering too. And in places like Orlando and Anaheim, even city tax income is falling. Mickey Mouse might be famous, but not even he can escape a global travel slowdown. 3. Saks Fifth Avenue. Luxury without buyers. Saks Fifth Avenue, once the symbol of American luxury shopping, is losing its shine. Its main store in Manhattan used to be packed with wealthy tourists from China, Europe, and the Middle East. Now, it's strangely quiet. International tourist spending in New York has dropped over 40% since before the pandemic. These rich travelers used to spend thousands on brands like Gucci, Dior, and Prada. Now they're either shopping online or not shopping at all. The strong dollar and complicated visas are pushing them away. Meanwhile, younger Americans are going for second-hand fashion or renting clothes. Platforms like The Real and Farfetch are stealing market share. Foot traffic at Saks locations in cities like LA and Miami is dropping fast. They've started cutting staff, reducing inventory, and even their exclusive launches feel dull. They're trying new tech and styling apps, but without tourists, Saks risks becoming an empty showroom. 4. Delta Airlines struggling to stay in the sky. Delta Airlines, a major player in U.S. aviation, is flying into rough weather in 2025. Even after reopening international routes, their revenue growth is just 1%, way below expectations. Why? Fewer international travelers are flying in, especially from Europe, thanks to messy visa processes and political tensions. Inside the U.S., things aren't great either. Economy class bookings are down 5%. People are traveling less, choosing budget airlines, or staying home altogether. Another challenge? Travelers are now booking last minute, making it hard for airlines to plan and manage flights properly. Delta is trying to attract premium customers with fancy cabins and better apps. But behind the scenes, fuel costs, labor, and low demand are dragging them down. If global travelers don't return soon, even a giant like Delta might have trouble staying in the air. 5. Greyline tours, the empty buses. You've probably seen Greyline's red and white tour buses near famous landmarks. In 2025, many of those buses are running half empty or not running at all. International tourists are still down 35%, and Greyline depends heavily on those visitors. But that's not all. Travel habits have changed. Today's younger tourists prefer exploring on their own using TikTok guides, Google Maps, or walking tours, not buses. Greyline has tried food tours and history routes, even electric buses, but old-fashioned audio systems and high fuel prices aren't helping. If they don't adapt quickly, they risk becoming a forgotten part of travel history. 6. Avis. Avis, once the go-to name for airport rental cars, is in trouble. Their cars are just sitting in parking lots, collecting dust and bills. Insurance, maintenance, and depreciation still cost money, even when cars aren't moving. Travelers today prefer Uber, Lyft, or car-sharing apps like Turo. It's cheaper, faster, and more convenient. Plus, younger generations want electric cars, and most of Avis's fleet still runs on gas. They've started adding EVs, but progress is slow and charging stations are limited. Even with virtual check-ins and monthly car subscriptions, Avis can't make up for the missing tourists. Without serious upgrades, they could soon be left behind by faster, smarter startups. 7. MGM Resorts. Even Las Vegas is feeling the heat. MGM Resorts, which owns places like the Bellagio and MGM Grand, is seeing fewer visitors. Total arrivals in Vegas are down 6.5%, and in February alone, they dropped 12%. Why? Big events like the Super Bowl were hosted elsewhere, and international tourists, especially from Canada, the UK, and Europe, are staying away. High travel costs and visa problems are to blame. As a result, MGM's revenue and profit margins are shrinking. Room rates are down, restaurants and shops are cutting back, and some nightclubs have shut down completely. Vegas is trying to fill the gap with loyalty programs and group bookings, but without international visitors, the City of Lights may have quieter nights ahead. 8. Broadway. Broadway theaters still shine bright, but inside, seats are empty. The Schubert organization, which owns 17 Broadway theaters, is facing real trouble. International visitors to NYC are still down 35%, and Broadway depends heavily on them. These tourists didn't just watch shows, they dined, shopped, and booked nearby hotels. Now, with fewer people coming, revenue is down 6-7%. Theater owners are offering local discounts and student deals, but it's not working fast enough. Shows are being shortened or canceled. Costs for sets, production, and licensing are going up. Meanwhile, people are staying home, watching Netflix or YouTube instead. Without a return of global audiences, Broadway's pause might become permanent. 9. The French Laundry. The French Laundry, one of America's most famous restaurants, used to require reservations months in advance. Now, you can book like it's a regular pizza joint. International guests from Asia, Europe, and the Middle East aren't flying in anymore. Why? Expensive flights, tough visa processes, and currency issues. Even rich Americans are choosing local restaurants or hiring private chefs instead. Chef Thomas Keller is trying to adapt, using seasonal menus and eco-friendly concepts like responsible luxury. But here's the truth. Fine dining depends on reputation and buzz. Without global tourists, even the best restaurants can end up half-empty. 10. Hollywood Boulevard shops. Let's end with a story from one of the world's most famous streets, Hollywood Boulevard. This stretch, home to the Walk of Fame, was once packed with tourists lining up for souvenir shops, t-shirts, and celebrity memorabilia. But foot traffic has slowed. Rising crime perception, inflation, and fewer international visitors have left some stores struggling to cover rent. Store owners are slashing prices, offering buy one, get one deals, and even teaming up with tour companies, but many say sales are still half of what they were before 2020. Today, parts of Hollywood Boulevard feel less like a bustling tourist strip and more like a street searching for its next act. So, what's really happening? The collapse of U.S. tourism is leaving big companies in trouble. Silently, slowly, and without much attention. From luxury hotels to airlines, theme parks to fine dining, the ripple effect is real. If international travel doesn't bounce back soon, many of these once iconic names might fade into memory. Thanks for watching, and if you want to keep following the real stories behind the headlines, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.